Hello and welcome to our mini class. The theme this week is nonviolence, which is one of the very foundational principles of yoga philosophy. And when it comes to nonviolence, it doesn't mean we should push down our feelings or deny how we're feeling, but find constructive ways to express that. And then when we throw a temper tantrum or lose our cool and we don't measure up to the standards that we hope for ourselves, then nonviolence also means forgiving ourselves and having compassion. And then that can extend to others as well when we see others behaving in ways that we roll our eyes or think, wow, how can they do that? If we're able to forgive ourselves when we're not behaving in ways that we would want for ourselves, we may have a little more compassion for others. And at this time, a lot of people are struggling, as we know, and maybe you're really struggling, and maybe you're having a hard time finding ways to be constructive with your emotions. Then your job is to really find compassion for yourself through this. And as we go through our mini class today, I will encourage you, just whatever feelings arise, to allow them to be. And if you feel overwhelmed at any point, feel free to just take a break, come back to it when you're ready. So we're going to be sitting for the first part, standing for the second part of the class. So if you want, you can sit on a chair or your couch or the side of your bed or the floor, whatever works for you. I'm going to use the chair that I've got ready behind me, so I will see you there. So as I mentioned, our theme today, and if you've done one of the full classes, you would have heard a longer description of the theme. But how we can relate to this theme in a class is to really be gentle with the language that we use towards ourselves, especially when we're having a hard time. If we're struggling with a posture or we're not sure we're doing something right, we can easily start beating up on ourselves. And so I really invite you to notice if that voice comes up. And there's no need to beat it down or force it away, but come back to something that you can be kind to yourself with. So you're here, you're practicing yoga. Maybe that can be enough right now. I've come to my mat. You know, maybe if you're just lying on your mat doing nothing, listening to my voice because that's what you need to feel good right now, that's okay too. Right? Maybe you've turned this class on and you're doing something else altogether. No need to feel guilty. Just find compassion, find kindness. So let's take the arms down to the sides. We're going to turn the palms out and take a breath in and lift the arms up, bringing the palms together and down to the heart. And as you come to this place, I invite you to close your eyes. And I invite you to come up with an intention in your own words for this class. So maybe your intention is to notice the words you say to yourself and find maybe some more kindness. Maybe you need to forgive yourself today for some way that you behave that you've been holding on to and not able to let go of. Maybe you'd like to be gentle and kind to your body today. Perhaps this time of isolation has been hard on your body. Either you're more sedentary or you're eating more. So letting that go and finding kindness for whatever state of stiffness or whatever state you happen to be in. And let's do this movement 3 more times to really draw in that intention. So lifting up with the breath in, as if you could gather your energy and intention and bring it to the heart. Pause here for a breath. And then again, gathering, drawing in. Stay with that intention. And then one more time, bringing it to the heart. and committing to that intention. And we'll lower the hands onto the thighs, and if you're sitting on a chair, you might bring the feet just a little bit wider apart. If you're cross-legged on the ground, then having the hands on the knees or thighs is fine. And we'll work with the extension and flexion of the spine. So drawing the shoulders down and back as you lift the heart, breathing in. Exhale at the shoulders, release and round forward, back, round, head come down. I just got a nice little crack in my neck there. Inhale, lengthening the front of the body, exhale, and lengthening the back of the body. And all those little creaks and cracks in the body are quite normal, so if you're hearing them for yourself, as long as they're not accompanied with pain, it's quite normal. If you're feeling pain when you're moving your body, you want to probably get that checked out or limit or modify your movement in some way. And now let's lift the arms straight up with a breath in, and then exhale, come into a forward bend. Inhale and lift. Exhale, forward. And then on this last time, when you come forward, you can brace your hands or your forearms on your thighs. If you're on the ground, it might be hands on the ground. Or you could bring the thighs in underneath the chest, let the chest rest on the thighs, the arms hang down. The main thing here is what's happening with your neck. So can you let your head release? Anyone with high blood pressure or other pressure issues, you're going to be up a little higher, keeping your head above your heart. And that way you can still find that nice release for the back of the neck. All right, let's come up with a breath in. Right, and release the arms down. Let's come to stand. So if you've got a chair and you find it useful to do forward bends using the chair, you can bring the chair to one end of your mat and just have it handy there for later if you want it. So we'll do some nice warm-ups for the shoulders and a bit for the hips. So a little rotation of the shoulders, and it could be just the shoulders moving. You could get the elbows in there as well. Or depending if you've got lots of space, you could bring the whole arm in. Let your body swing and move. So really warming up everything here. You can switch directions with the circles. And again, it could still just be shoulders or elbows, if that feels better than bringing the whole arm into it. Right, and then eventually come back to the center, give it a little shake, and we'll take the feet just a little wider and bring the hands to the hips and do a few circles here. So we're actually working not only with the hips, but also a little bit with the ankles. There's a little bit of movement there. The knees stay soft and they get a little bit of movement. Right, and then coming back to the center. So if we take the feet a little bit wider now, and again, how wide it is going to depend on what's comfortable for you. So you might be a little narrower than I am or a little wider. My legs are quite long, so I've got lots of room to take them apart. Your legs might be a little shorter. They might feel more comfortable or under you. I'm going to take the arms to the sides. Soften your knees, and we're going to twist one way. So one hand comes behind you, and the palm is going to face away from you. The other hand, palm faces towards you, coming to the opposite side. So from the center, one hand back, one hand forward. And then we're going to add a twist. So whichever hand is coming to the hip on that side, you're going to turn that way and look over your shoulder. If you feel tension in your ankle or your knee, you're going to lift the heel of the foot that you're going away from. And then you'll come down to the side and you'll go the other way. So again, lifting the heel or bringing the feet in closer if you feel tension or torque in your knee or your ankle. So here, if you want a little bit more with your twist, if you want to add a forward bend, you can reach for the opposite leg. Keep your spine long as you go forward if you choose to add that forward bend. So the wider the legs are, the further you're going to be reaching as you go down the leg. So some of you will find it easy to reach maybe for the ankle or the floor or the foot, whereas others may find that just staying upright is really the best option for you. So find what works for a couple more rounds. Right, and then when you come to center this time, we'll lift all the way up. Exhale, come forward. You can bring your hands or your forearms to your thighs, or if you like, hands to the ground. Elbows can be straight or bent, whatever is available to you. And then we'll come all the way back up again. So we'll do that a few times, coming up with the breath in, sweeping forward any amount that is right for you. We'll do a couple more like that. Okay, this time you can release your arms to your sides and wiggle the feet in towards each other. So we're eventually going to be working towards a pose called Parivriti Trikonasana, or twisted triangle pose. It looks a lot like warrior with a bit of a twist to it. So we're going to warm up with a couple of versions of poses like warrior to help the hamstrings open and the hips get a little movement. Also a little bit of movement through the torso. So if you want to use a chair, it's a nice option here. You could also use blocks, bring your hands to blocks if you've got them, or you can just use your front leg to brace yourself. So either way, and I'll show you a few different ways. I'm going to start with the chair. So we're going to come into a very simple pose, just one foot in front of the other. The back foot is turned out a little bit. The front knee is a little bit bent. So from here, you'll lift the arms up and then exhale, come forward. Your hands can come to the chair, or if you like, to the blocks, or perhaps to your front knee. And the point here is to keep the spine long. So we're not rounding and going as far forward as we can, but really looking for length. And then we're going to arch and round the back a little here. So just like we did seated, you can let the tail lift, shoulders move back, chest forward. Your head just lifts enough to be in line with your spine, not way up. And then as you exhale, rounding, tucking the chin in. You might feel as you inhale and arch, there's a little more stretch in the front leg. If you want more stretch, move your front leg a little straighter. When you're ready, we'll come all the way up with a breath in, releasing and switching sides. So a little bit of bend in the front knee, especially if you're bringing your hands onto your thigh. So the option with the hands on the thighs here. Inhale, arching, exhale, rounding. For those who are a little bit more flexible, you might inhale, arch, exhale, release with your hands on blocks. When you're ready to come up, you'll lift with a breath in, coming all the way up. And you'll exhale to release. And bringing the feet back together. So if you're using blocks, you can keep using blocks. I'm going to use the chair because it's a little easier to demonstrate and talk if I'm not as intensively in the pose. So for the next one, we're going to take the feet a little bit wider apart, more like warrior. So one foot forward and the other foot back. You can get there, usually we get there from back here and step forward, but you can also step back from your chair as well. So front knee is going to be a little bit bent over your ankle. You want to be close enough to the chair so you can reach it when you come forward. So we'll come here with a breath in, reaching up. Exhale, bring your hands to your chair or to your blocks. This one also works with the hands on the knee. You can absolutely do that. So we're going to, whichever leg is forward, you're going to leave the opposite arm on the chair or on your leg. So if your left leg is forward like mine, your right hand will stay on your leg or your right hand will stay on the chair. Your other arm will reach out to the side, and you want a nice long spine here. Turn the palm up and bring the hand to your lower back, palm facing up. Now, if it's comfortable for you to straighten the front leg and it doesn't cause your back to round when you do that, you can have your legs straighter, but having it bent is perfectly fine. So you want to think about that front hip moving back just a little bit to square the hips. And then from there, you can start to turn your body towards the front leg. So the arm that's behind your back will start to lift a little. Your weight is on the hand that's on the chair or your leg or the block. And then you could lift the other arm and reach up, breathing in. And when you come back, you can lower the arm back to the chair. Take a breath in. Exhale, come forward. If it's comfortable for you, you can bring your forearms onto your chair, let your head release down. The front leg can be a little bent. If you want a bit of movement here, you can rock straight and bent a few times. And then with a little bit of bend in the knee, you can come all the way back up. And then release. We'll step the feet together and we'll switch sides. So other foot is forward now, balanced over your 2 feet. Back foot is turned out enough so that your foot is, so that you're balanced and your foot is comfortably on the ground. We'll come up with the breath in. Exhale, come forward. Again, lengthen your spine. So there's a little bit of lift in your tail, but you're not collapsing your lower back. You're trying to find the natural curve. So if we're really tight in the back of the leg, what happens is we tend to round the back here. So bending your knee enough to find the back could be a little more in its natural curves, not rounded. So from here, we're going to keep whichever leg is forward, the opposite hand on the chair or on the leg. The other arm reaches out, palm turns up, thumb moves back, hand comes to the lower back. From there, if you like, thinking about moving this hip back a little as you take the shoulder up. Good, you can breathe and stay here. If you like, you could lift the arm as long as that's comfortable. If your body isn't wanting to twist so much, you may not choose to lift the arm, right? Because as we lift the arm, it becomes very awkward behind us. So once the body turns, the 2 arms come in a straight line. Otherwise, leaving that arm behind the back is a really nice option here. Just allows the shoulder to be in a very easeful position. When you're ready to come out, you can release the arm. Again, take a breath in, and if it's available to you, you might come a little lower, releasing. Here, it's okay if the back rounds a little bit. We're not trying to keep it as straight as possible or as natural as possible. We're not twisting, so it's fine. And when you're ready, you can come back up, lifting up with the breath in. and releasing with an exhale. And then stepping the feet back together, turning the palms forward, taking a breath in, gathering our energy, our intention, bringing the hands back to the heart. Reconnect with your intention here. And then again, release. We'll lift all the way up, gathering that energy. And now inviting that energy all the way down to the feet. So we're going to bring the hands together, bend the knees, releasing toward the feet, and then gathering that intention, that energy, lifting it. And we'll repeat that a few times. So as the hands come down, it's like we're bringing that intention through our whole being. Our intention to engage with the theme of nonviolence in whatever way feels right for you. Not forcing the body, not pushing down any emotions that may want to be expressed. Allowing that freedom. And when you don't measure up the way you hope to, finding compassion and forgiveness. A couple more forward bends with that gentle kindness, your intention to engage with non-violence. Right. If it feels okay for you to stay in the forward bend, you could stay this time, and it might be hands or elbows on the thighs. It could be hands on your chair, either close to your chair or a little bigger stretch for your shoulders further away from your chair. So whatever version of a forward bend feels good to you. As always, letting the back of the neck release and lengthen. And then coming all the way up with the breath in again, gathering that intention, that energy back to the heart. And I'd invite you to commit to taking this theme out into your world, into your life, into your bubble. Maybe you're with others in isolation. Perhaps after it's been 5 or 6 weeks now, tensions may be mounting, so finding ways of engaging with non-violence in those relationships. And if you're on your own, it may be getting really tough to be on your own, and perhaps, we tend to get more in our heads when we're alone, so perhaps it's really important now for you to let go of any judgment you have for yourself, to find kindness, to find compassion for where you are. So I invite you to take this theme with you as you go through your day, through your week, and see how you can bring that intention off the mat and into your life. Namaste.